When I finished doing this 1/2 by 2.5 iron on the inside of this rear curve, it fitted up pretty easily, and my intention was that I would just go ahead and do the other side. This is the left side, and I still have the right side to do. So I started playing with it, and my intentions just went out the window. As I got this one set down, it fit this toe of this rear frame really nicely. It has a little bit of a triangle open space here, but that's where the curve of the main frame comes up and then goes flat to this joint work. There's just this little flat section right here, so it just spans that. So on the right side, I have this section of this framework fitted to the frame of my wood, and I have that same little flat section that transitions into the toe of this framework. But you can see I have probably 3/16 of an inch space here, and I've added the curve here to take away any pressure that might be up on toward the top. So I have clearance all the way up. I am probably over an inch on the top here to get this to clear. But you can see how this stands so much more vertical than the other side did. When this makes a transition, it is probably maybe at that kind of an angle. I don't know what that would be, 30 degrees off perhaps. But when I come to this other side, that angle is not quite a 90, but it's almost vertical. It might only be 5 degrees off, whereas that other one was more like this. So I just need to readjust this whole angle in order for this to drop down and make contact with the toe of my rear frame. And that becomes a little more involved than just adjusting the curves on either side of this little stair step here. I think I'm going to have to go to the forge and just reshape this whole thing. And I'm going to take this off and show you where there's been some adjustment here that's different than it was on the left side. So these are my two irons. This is the left side and this is the right side. Now this has a nice uniform curve in this bend, and it has retained pretty much its full thickness of this 1/2 inch through this transition. But this right side, you can see the imprints to where some real steep reshaping has happened here, and we don't have the full thickness here. On the inside, you can see that something has been done to upset this and lose that thickness, and has made this stand much more closely to vertical. In fact, this position right here is almost vertical. So I don't understand what all happened there, why they made this adjustment, but it is different from the left side. So this is my 8-passenger, and this one I have to make all new iron. So in my contemplating how I'm going to make that bend, my thought was I'm going to follow this line that's on my main frame on the side and continue that up right through there. So this would be the line that would continue this angle up into this curve of the rear frame. So if I were to measure from this line up to the top of this toe, see, I am at 5/8 of an inch right down here. And if I come up a little further, right about here, I'm at 3/4 of an inch. And so it makes that transition from 5/8 to 3/4 in less than an inch and a half, about an inch and 3/8 possibly. And if I were to do the same thing on the right side of my 11, following this line here up this direction in this transition curve, from here up, I am also at 1 5/8, and by the time I come to 3/4, I am about right here, and that transition takes place at about 1 3/8. So this framework transition is the same on my 11 as it is to the 8. So in my contemplating to make this 1/2 by 2.5 do this transition, I had planned on taking a piece of 3/4 inch flat iron and putting this taper from 3/4 down to 5/8 within this 1 3/8. And then I can heat that section up in my forge and put it in my press and make that transition. Well, I think I'm going to have to do the same thing for the right side of that 11 passenger and use that to reshape that little S curve for that iron to make it work. So it wasn't my intention to have to do this on the 11 passenger, but I think what I'm going to have to do is actually run this through the forge and lay this down to where it's a little more in that 30-degree area. Then I'm going to put it in here. This will be my bottom form, this will become my top form, and press that back into shape where hopefully this will come down onto my metal bottom form. This distance here is about the distance that I need to come down to hit my wood frame. So I'm going to push this down, try to make that happen. We'll see how that does. But when I do this on the new iron, I'll be laying that in like so. And then this will be the top form. And I'll just press this down and it'll put that little S curve or Z shape into that iron. Well, I was playing with the one on the 8-passenger. I was letting this one cool down. We have a pretty nice fit till about right here. Right here on up is where I need to start to relax that to bring this upper end down. But we're much better there than we were before. And double check our angle. See, we're much closer to what the left side was. You know, over the years, I've had quite a number of guys that have come in and worked with me for a season. And this concept of overbending and then relaxing into the wood has been one of the more challenging concepts to convey. I'm not sure why that is. It works really well, and I do it all the time. Well, now that my new iron is cooled down, let's see how close I am to my pattern. I have my mold here that I used, and it seems to be right there close, but I need to curl this up and actually bring it a little too tight and see if I can make sure that this fits here, and then I can relax it down into the curve of the framework itself. Well, you can see I'm a little tighter than my pattern. Just have to see how it fits the wood. So I've got contact, again, pretty decent here. Looks like I take off right about in here. I'll look on the inside and see if we can see a little better. Yeah, we actually start being a little too tight clear back here. About a 1/4 inch here, maybe 3/4 inch here. But all this fits good. I just need to bring this down, relax it into that curve. While I had my forge going, I did start my second one. My first one, you see I start to be too tight clear back down here. So I'll just relax this back down. Well, I did 3 or 4 trips back and forth, but I think we got her fitted right there. Got nice contact all the way around. Shove that up tight against that toe. I think that looks good. This one's a little hot yet. I think I'll give it a little bit of time. I could run some water over it, but I do like these to cool down naturally. Well, I have these rocker irons roughed in according to the patterns. These are the front and these here are the rear. But I don't have this iron here. Now this goes on the outside of the curve, and it is 1/4 by 3, and I have it measured by 21. Now it's kind of a graduating curve, so I can't run it through my roller that I use for tires so much. I'll probably just use my press to bend those. So somewhere in here is where this iron is going to fit. Again, we're making allowance for that back panel once it gets put on. And it should fit underneath this rocker iron here. So we're going to be about in this position where it comes up close to where that inside iron is. And then there should be a couple of bolts here that will sandwich this all together. And once that panel is in, then I can fine tune that if I have to bring that in just a little bit. So this outside rocker iron should fit at this corner at the tip of that rocker. And the height is about right, but I actually need to bend this down just a little bit so that it fits closer to there. So I need to tweak this just a bit. Yeah, that's much nicer fit. I clamp these together down here at the rocker, I think. And that's going to be pretty close where it's going to live, I think. This other inside iron cooled down, and I have it fitted up pretty well. I have the outside iron shaped for this one also. It's going to fit right underneath here. Somewhere about like so. And this outside rocker iron is going to fit right in there. Clamp it into place also here. You know, it's nice to have the patterns that I have to get me in the ballpark, but when it comes to fitting, you actually just have to do it right to the coach itself. It's a pretty intricate set of ironwork that kind of couples along with all the intricate woodwork. Appreciate you coming along. Thanks for watching.